Perfect.
Hey, Spark Plugs, it's Kate.
Hey, Spark Plugs, it's Z.
And today we have Ariel Anderson joining us.
Yay! The Ariel Anderson, the lovely author of, can you guys believe it? Oh my God.
We are super excited. I was just telling them that this is probably the prettiest book that I own. It is definitely a romance book that I have just come to love, and the story is beautiful. I know that Ariel personally would tell you that this is a romantic tragedy, and while it doesn't have a happy ending, it does not make it any less of a romance book for me. This is a phenomenal book, and I cannot wait for the audio to be released on the 9th with Joe Arden and Lee Daniels, produced by Blue Nose Audio.
So excited to have Joe and Lee do this. Because the emotion, from That Sick Love, what emotion he can bring out. And he is the perfect silencer Christian tortured soul. God.
Yeah,
Gorgeous.
that's exactly why I wanted him to be Christian and the silencer. I just thought he was perfect for the role. I don't think anybody else could capture that emotion that he can so easily.
Absolutely not. Yeah, I totally 100% agree.
I 1,000% agree with that too. And I just think he brings it to, he took what you've made so beautifully and brought it to a different level, because it's like watching a movie in your head. You can really empathize with this character, and it's just phenomenally done. And I can't wait to hear how wonderfully Lee compliments him in the production.
Oh yeah, it's going to be perfect. I know.
Yes, sure. I'm so excited.
Yeah, I can't wait.
So, Ariel, can you tell us what inspired you to become an author, and what moment you realized that it was your calling?
I wouldn't really say that it's my calling. I would say that it's something I'm passionate about, but like I never anticipated making a career out of it. It's just kind of obviously kind of just like something that I did, in the midst of going through a lot, and I didn't really anticipate the amount of love that I've received from it. So that was kind of a shock to me when, it kind of blew up in, a small way relatively, but for me it was a huge thing. But I did start writing creatively in college. Super embarrassing, but I was that girl that was writing Marvel fan fiction on Tumblr. And that's kind of how I got my start. That was just something I did in my free time in college. And I kind of stopped after I graduated college. Didn't really write for a couple years. And then my friend Shelby, she was querying one of her books, and she's still querying it right now. But she really inspired me with the story that she had written to start writing. And then that Swear Under Your Stars was Under Your Stars. Oh my God. Under Your Scars was born. Can't even say my own title right.
I love that you started writing a fan fiction for Marvel. I don't think I knew that, but that is just absolutely an amazing little quirk. I love it.
That was so long ago. Like, man, I think back in those days and I was like, wow, that's insane. And I remember, I think I was relatively popular on Tumblr at the time. I had like 10,000 followers. And I ended up deleting that account after I got into started actually working, because I just didn't want people in my real life to find it. Kind of came to regret that when I decided to become an author, but you live and you learn.
Right. And now you're gaining a new audience and new followers. So
yeah, they're all the best.
New journeys. I love it. That is so awesome. I feel like I didn't have like a creative bone in my body writing wise. I always kept trying to write like little stories when I was younger, but I never finished them. Like squirrel brain, I was like, oh, okay, moving on to the next. So, but really getting into reading like your work and getting into these books and listening to audiobooks and everything, especially when I found Joe listening to one of his books. TSL was That Sick Love was my first audiobook and first Joe book. Same. Yeah.
Well, same for, but
Nice. And that, I don't know, it sparked my creativity. It sparked like emotions that I didn't know I had. And I totally like, I'm wanting to write and I'm trying. Yeah. So I just love how this community has brought out my creative side of my brain.
that's honestly the most rewarding part is the community you find through your
Yeah.
writing. Like, I can't. It's hard to explain to somebody who hasn't like found that community yet. Or I mean, you guys have found that community, but as an author, it's like it's a different level. It's like you get so
Yeah.
much love and support, and it's hard, like, because I get a lot of DMs every day and I try to respond to everybody, but it's not always possible. And in the back of my head, I'm always like, oh my gosh, if I don't respond to this person in like 5 minutes, they're going to think that I hate them. But, everyone's so nice. Like, there are very, very few instances where somebody has ever not been super kind to me in this community, the book space. So that is really the most rewarding part.
I love it. Trust me, we won't get our feelers hurt if you can't respond to us right away.
Very true. We know you're busy, and we definitely just appreciate the response in general. And I think that's the one thing that really can be said for the majority of the book community is they're so loving and involving. And it's just a different space and a different group of people.
Yeah.
And I'm really blessed and rewarded to have found that type of vibe with people from all over the world. And it's just brought me a lot of joy in my life. That's all, for the most part, been very positive.
Absolutely.
I feel like I found like lifelong friends through this.
Absolutely.
Yep. We found each other.
Yeah, we've actually never met in real life. We're going to meet in real life for the first time at My Soul to Take. And that we are very excited for that.
And I'm going to break down and cry.
Probably.
But so the next question, if you could spend a day with any character from one of your books, who would it be and why?
I'm only going to go off of the books that I've actually published. So, Under Your Scars and Delilah. And honestly, I think I would spend the day with Elena because I feel like I relate to her so much as far as like how she's very soft-spoken, but she still knows how to stand up for herself when she needs to. And, just like the strength that she shows, I feel like I can really relate to that. And I feel like we would be really good friends. And I know most people were expecting me to say like Christian or the Silencer, but honestly, like I want to be friends with Elena.
Yeah. She definitely, what I've read, like, I feel like she puts up boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
She sets up her boundaries and she's like, nope. Like, but then she's still very caring and sweet. And
Yeah.
like her relationship with her dad and of course her feelings towards Christian. So, yeah.
I loved Elena's development through the book, and you get to see so many different aspects of her personality and just really watch her grow and become more firm with those boundaries and where her hard lines are and what she's not willing to put up with. And it was really refreshing to see from that viewpoint where she doesn't necessarily lose her softness, and she didn't have to take it to a different level to like adamantly say this is the line. I just think she handled it in such a classy way. I would agree with that. I really like Elena as a person and think I could definitely be friends with Elena.
A lot of people
Right.
have told me that they think that, or a lot of people have said that it's really refreshing to have a character that is like so real. Like, people have explained to me that she's just so real to them, and she's just like a breath of fresh air, because she's not that there's anything wrong with like overly sassy characters, but I feel like that's kind of the vibe that a lot of these books are going towards, where like the female is like very headstrong and, you know, very sassy, and that's fine, but those are not the kind of characters that I can personally relate to. I mean, it's fun every once in a while, but it's nice to just like kind of, especially in dark romance, I feel like, you know, the girls are either super sassy and then kind of get, you know, dominated by this alpha male personality, or they're like very extremely timid and kind of just go along with anything. And I feel like Elena was like kind of a perfect balance between those two. Like, she had her moments where she was, you know, weak in terms of their relationship, but she also had her boundaries, and, you know, it kind of was like an up and down thing. It wasn't a perfect arc for her. It was kind of like, you know, depending on what they were going through in their relationship, they had all these different she had all these different feelings, and that made her human, because she wasn't just this one note through the whole book.
Yes.
And that's what made it so easy to relate to like real life instances, though, because nothing is ever, you can't be on a level 10 the whole time. You have to negotiate and communicate, and the communication skills in this book are just, I loved it. I love the communication.
I'm so glad you said that, because one of my biggest pet peeves when I read books is over communication. I know, like, most people are like, miscommunications. I hate miscommunication, but I hate over communication so much more. I think that is so much less real, because you're not always going to say what you feel, because you're considering the other person's feelings, and there's nothing wrong with that. You know, there's nothing wrong with, you know, just taking a deep breath. Yeah, just being, you know, little tiny miscommunications happen. Like, that's real. Like,
they do. Yeah.
It's not realistic. It's not realistic to just say everything that's going on. Like, you kind of build into it. It's not just like this one exposition that you have with, you know, a person that you love. So that's my biggest pet peeve. So I really try to avoid that in Under Your Scars.
Yeah. Real life communication is hard, and it takes work, you know, and there's always going to be miscommunication. So I'm definitely glad
we didn't just gloss over the whole everything is rainbows and kittens and unicorns, and it's perfect communication from day one, and there's no you know, or even their fights felt very real. It wasn't just an easy solution and this is the way it's going to be and it's automatically fixed. I really appreciate, I find more in the books that I'm leaning towards, that I engage with or read with more or enjoy to a fuller extent, are the ones that I can relate more so to real life, and the conversations that you have in real life and how to navigate those. It feels very relatable, so you can relate to both the characters in a more realistic way.
Yep. Totally agree.
So the next question I have is, what is the most interesting thing that you've had to research for a book, and did it put you on any warning or watch lists?
I don't think that I would have been put on any watch list. I can't really think of any, like, well, okay, that's not true. So this is kind of like I guess an insight into like the foundation of Under Your Scars, but Elliot's character actually went a lot more crazy in an earlier version, and he's a plastic surgeon, and so one of the things that he did was that he actually did surgery on his own face to look like Christian, to kind of like psychologically mess with his mind. And so I was like Googling a lot of like scar things, and he's a heavy smoker, so I was like trying to Google, like, you know, how smoking affects surgery scars. And so I don't think I ended up on any like FBI watch list, but my FBI agent was probably like, why is this all of a sudden all she can Google all day long?
I love it. I am here for Unhinged Elliot.
Yes, Unhinged Elliot. Maybe that should be a side story.
It was kind of crazy. Part 3 was actually a lot longer in earlier versions, but I cut it just because, I mean, obviously the book's already like 600 pages, so some stuff had to be cut, but that was one of the things that he did. Right. I just, at the end of the day, I felt like that was a little bit too out there, so it ended up getting cut, but it was a fun concept in the beginning.
I would love to see, would you ever put something like on a special edition with kind of maybe that type of excerpt in there, or is that just something that will just always forever sit to the side? And
Yeah, it's probably gonna always sit to the side. If I don't keep like earlier versions of my drafts, so like
okay.
it's gone. So I wouldn't be able to do that, but there will be other fun stuff coming in future editions. I'll just say that. I mean, I've already said it. I said that I was going to put an alternate ending in the collector's edition, so
Yep.
people have that to look forward to.
Yes,
I
I'm totally
can't-
looking forward to it.
Is that collector edition the foiled edges that you released on Instagram?
No. So that's just a book box that I'm collabing with. My collector's edition, obviously, I don't know if anybody's looked on my Instagram, but it pinned on my profile, there's this silencer artwork. That's going to be the cover of the book. And then the inside's going to be, this like I'm hoping it to be like very like luxe. And so I'm just kind of working on it. I want it to be perfect. So
I can't wait. Is there a cap to how many you're producing? We need to know things.
I don't know yet. I mean, I was going to release it on the 1 year anniversary of Under Your Scars, but I don't think that's gonna happen. I just have too much going on this year. But maybe early next year we'll see what happens. Because I do want to get that one out soon because I just want one in my hands for my own personal collection. But that it will be coming eventually. I just don't know when eventually is.
Oh, I love it. That's exciting.
So now I need so I have the Kindle Unlimited version. I have this version. I have the normal paperback version, and now I need the book box version, and now the special edition one.
And don't forget, we need her little silencer.
Oh, yes. Who's your little friend?
Silencer from Bumblebee Designs on Etsy. She's linked in my Instagram link tree, but isn't he so cute?
He is so cute. I can't wait to put him on my bookshelf. He is amazing.
Yep. She did a fabulous job. So
yeah,
I'm totally.
I think these are limited. Like, I don't think she has like a forever stock of these. So if you want to get one, you should get one.
All right.
You'll be
definitely gonna get one of those.
I love her. She's great. She does all my Stars March. So
hold on just a second. I'm so sorry.
I'm gonna take a drink of my Mountain Dew.
Your Mountain Dew. I lived off of Mountain Dew in high school. It was Mountain Dew. It was Mountain Dew, Fruity Pebbles, Laffy Taffy, all the sugar.
We would be good friends. That's like my diet. So
yeah, that was that's what got us going. Kept us going through the day.
Yeah.
All righty. If you could co-author a book with any writer, living or dead, who would it be and why?
Oh man, this is such a hard question because I have so many authors that I love, but the thing about like co-authoring is you have to like make sure that your styles really mesh. So I don't know that necessarily my styles would mesh with some of these people, but as far as like just like a dream, I really love JT Geisinger. I love her books. I think she's great. Her books just have like they're like binge worthy. Like I just want to read them all. Like I love her Queens and Monsters series, but I think she writes like some of the most hilarious books that I've ever read, and I just really like her. So that would be fun. I know Lexi Axelson, she asked me once if I would co-write a book with her, and I said I would think about it just because I have a lot going on this year, but that might be something that happens in the future, and she's great. I love her. I'm going to meet her at the Romance Era experience next month, and I can't wait.
Oh, fun.
So sweet. And she's like probably my closest author friend in this space, so it's really fun. We kind of go to each other for advice. So that might be something that happens one day. I definitely love to work with her because she's just, salt of the earth. She's amazing. Who else? Not that we write anywhere in the same genre, but Madeline Miller and her Song of Achilles book, that's my #1 favorite book of all time. And I wish I could write like her. So I almost want to just take a master class from her and then collab with her.
And it's called Song of Achilles.
Song of Achilles.
Okay. I'm
I
going to
just
have
wrote
to write that
all
down.
that down. I got it. I already wrote it all down.
You did?
I was
Yeah.
like,
Look
new
at
book.
you taking
New
care of me.
Always. So
the book is
you're writing a paranormal series or a book, correct?
Yeah, it's a duet, so 2 books.
Can you tell us anything about that?
Yeah. So I was planning on actually releasing it this month. Didn't happen. So maybe around Halloween time is my next goal. See if that happens. But it's vampires. I love me some vampires. I'm in a vampire mood right now. It's very it's a romance. It's very gothic and sexy, and I feel like it's going to be a little bit different because when people think vampire romance, I don't know. I feel like it's just going to be different. It's based in a fictional world, and it's kind of I don't know if you guys remember, but a couple months ago there was this list going around of books that I would want people to write, and there was something like soulmates that are destined to kill each other, and it's kind of in that kind of vein of, I guess that's the trope it would be for. Not literal exactly, but kind of in that sort of vein. So that's
You're speaking my love language.
Yes.
I love all the
Yes.
paranormal, vampire, aliens, werewolves. Give them all to me. That is top 10.
Vampires were my first love in the paranormal romance books.
I'm
really
Definitely.
excited for that one to come out. I'm
I
excited.
am too.
Are you going to have an ARC reading list for that one?
Yeah, I do. Everyone always asks me if I have a permanent ARC list. I don't do those. I just have ARC signups per book, and I very rarely deny ARC applications unless it's just something way out of the wheelhouse. But so I do every single book will have its own ARC sign up because that's just easier for me to keep track of. I do have a street team, but my street team is full right now and they get automatic ARCs. But I do. There will be ARCs. I promise. Most people will get them. Anybody who wants one will probably get one because I just even with Under Your Scars, people were a month after the ARC application closed, they were like, "Man, I really wanted to ARC," and I was like, "Okay, here you go." I was
Right.
I hate disappointing people, so I'm I have to I can't even when people win giveaways with me, I have to send them I send them multiple books. If they just win a giveaway with just Under Your Scars, I usually send them Delilah and then art prints and stuff. So I'm I don't want people to be disappointed. I want people to feel the love that they give me. So that's my way of saying thank you to them. Is I just I'm just okay, you're here, you can have my book, no problem.
Oh,
that is the best, and I am so excited.
I'm oh my heart, that's so sweet. I love that. All righty. So
what's the funniest or most memorable reaction you've ever received from a reader?
Okay, this one, I read this question and I tried to find this review on Goodreads, and for the life of me, I could not find it. I don't know, maybe I just missed it, or if this person deleted it, I don't know. But the review was something she had finished reading it and she was like, "Ariel, I hope your vibrator dies." And I was like, that is the best review I've ever gotten.
I don't mean to laugh, but I also can kind of understand where she was coming from.
But yeah, that was definitely the #1 review I've ever gotten.
Oh my God, I love it. That is the best.
On Goodreads, please screenshot it and send it to me.
Oh my God, we are going to totally grab our friends. We're going to skim or
Deep dive.
Go
We're gonna
in.
deep dive.
We're
We're
gonna
not
go into
skimming.
a Goodreads deep dive. Goodreads deep dive.
And find this comment
It was
so we can frame it forever.
yeah.
Yeah.
Someone like print it out and put it on my wall because it was just
Yes.
I don't know why I didn't do that to begin with, but
Now, would the husband be okay with that?
yeah, he's okay with anything. He's fine.
He's like, yeah, cool.
That's
pretty
a
sure I
great
sent that
response.
Oh, it's awesome. All right, here's a fun one. If you're a protagonist or antagonist, anti-hero, whoever you would choose, had a Tinder profile, what would their bio say?
Well, I'm definitely gonna choose the silencer for this one because I feel like that has the most potential to be the most fun. But I'm not good at on the spot. I tried to think of this earlier too, and I was like, I just can't. I don't know. It would have to be like, I don't know.
What it would be like, do you like red duct tape?
Or like, I can show you my knife collection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. I love it.
Look at my masks.
Right.
You a fan of knife play?
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Yep.
It would be something really unhinged like that.
Right. Oh my gosh. Too funny.
So I think that I know what your answer will be to this question, but if you could swap places with any of your characters for a day, what's the first thing you would do? I think you're going to choose Elena.
I was actually not going to choose Elena, and this is going to sound just like so out there, but I would choose Christian. The first thing I would do is I would go to the mall and I would spend money. That's it. I'm a simple woman. I just want to
Shopping spree.
shopping spree.
Take his credit card and
That-
go shopping.
Well, it would be
Yep.
hers. She would be him for the day.
Oh, yes.
It's her
Yeah.
money.
Make
Yes.
myself
It's
shopping.
your money.
I'll
Yes.
be this 6'5" dude, shopping in, Forever 21 or whatever. That'd be
Our,
Oh my gosh.
our friend Aaron made the funniest and best one that I've seen about the hedge fund, 6'9",
yeah.
blue
Blue
eyes.
eyes, 6'5". She did so good. I cannot stop watching that reel. I really
definitely
can't.
watched it more than once.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
watched it.
So good.
She's
So,
great. She's
Erin, this one's for you. We're giving you props, girl. Oh my gosh. Okay. What is the one thing you want people to understand about Under Your Scars?
Man, I could talk about this forever. I feel like most of you probably know what I'm going to say, but just because it doesn't have a happily ever after doesn't mean it's not a romance. This gets me so heated. I actually got in a Facebook argument about this morning. It's inevitable every time I see somebody, say anything about my book and then they mention that it's not an HEA. There's inevitably somebody in the comments who's like, hey, it's not a real romance, blah, blah, blah. And then I go in and I try to explain, my reasonings for it still being romance, even though it doesn't end in a happily ever after. And, they're set in their ways. And, I don't know why I bother, but it just gets me so heated because,
Right.
there's so much love out there. And I feel like, they could say, it's the genre. As a reader, I don't want to read that. And I'm like, but there are 800 billion other romance books out there that have the same kind of ending, happily ever after, they get married, have kids, whatever. There's so many of those. Like, why would you limit your outlook on love to just those things?
Yes.
And I said this earlier. I said this in my Discord. I was like, if it's a romance book up until the last page, that's a you problem. That's a problem with how you are looking at the genre. If you can say it's a romance until the last page, then it's a romance. You just didn't like the ending. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yep.
and saying that, first off, you don't have to explain yourself to anybody because you wrote what you wrote and it is beautiful. And you have
And it's
reached
beautiful.
so many people that have told that I hope you just know, Ariel, your words are truly magical and beautiful. And there are so many people that appreciate the story that you wrote. It's so moving and real. It's more. To me, it's more. I can appreciate the fluffy HEAs. Those are great. But they did have a love story in this book. It just didn't end the way that, maybe you wanted it to end. But that doesn't mean that it's not a love story. It was a beautiful love story for me personally.
Yes,
I think not
it's
being a
real.
Yeah, if it was not a romance, then that just discounts everything that they went through and all the happiness that they experienced. Like, you can't tell me that they didn't have a happily ever after when there was so much unconditional love in that relationship.
Exactly.
Hell and back together, and you're gonna tell me that they didn't have a happily ever after, however short-lived it would be? Because if they had gotten married and it would have just stayed like that, then you would have considered a happily ever after. But because they get married and then, what happened, then suddenly it's not a happily ever after.
And honestly, I can appreciate their relationship so much fucking more because of all the shit that they went through. And they still put in the work and the time. Like, man, fuck you. That it is a romance story. 100%.
Right? That's how I'm like, no, it's romance, okay? I think it's been said, Romeo and Juliet. Can anybody argue that that's not a romance?
I don't
Maybe
think so.
they can, or maybe they want to, and maybe they will. I don't, that's cool.
And also, is romantic tragedy not a subset of romance?
It is. And if you went into it, and that's what I was going to say, on the very first page, it says, this is a romantic tragedy. It's not like you set these people up blind to be blindsided by it. So I don't
surprise.
It says
not going to get on a soapbox, but
it says in the Amazon description, no happily ever after, and people still say, I didn't know. And I'm like, how many? At some point, it becomes their responsibility.
Yes.
As a reader, if you're not reading your information and paying attention to, that's on you.
You did your due diligence with putting in there what it is about. And that's all you can do. It's up to everybody else to how they go into it.
The funny part is the people who say it's not a happily ever after, then it's not a romance, are people who have not read the book. This person that I got in a Facebook argument with today, she said, oh, well, I had to go read just the ending after she had read the post about my book because she was like, I needed to see what it was all about. And it wasn't an emotionally satisfying ending. And I'm like, you can't read the ending out of context. And
that's cheating.
You have nothing to validate your response on.
Like, I don't understand that logic. If you have no intention of reading it, that's fine. If no happily ever after is not your jam, I get it. But don't try to police what I wrote, what I put out into the world when there are 800 million other books you could be reading. Instead of you have your energy on mine.
And do something else with your time.
Yeah. I just
find
my head, I'm like, wait, what? Somebody actually.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sadly, it doesn't surprise me. I wish I could say it did.
Anyways, let me calm down before I just keep going on and on about this. I could go on forever about this topic.
Yes.
Right.
We're gonna put the soapboxes away, and I'm gonna ask you a funny question. Okay. What is the weirdest thing that a fan has ever asked you for?
I've been waiting for this question for so long. And if this person happens to see this podcast, I just want you to know that this is in me in no way judging you for this conversation that we had. This is all in good fun. But this girl, she messaged me on Instagram and she asked me, before I had published this hardcover, she had asked me if I had an alternate cover that didn't have the gun on it. And I said, oh, no, I'm sorry. One is in the works, but I don't really know when it's going to be, out yet. So, sorry, I don't have it. Thinking that she was just like, she wanted something a little bit more discreet. No problem. She messages me back and she says, oh, that's so sad. I wanted to send it to my boyfriend in prison so we could buddy read it, but I don't think they would let him have a gun with the cover on it. And I was like, I'm so sorry. I don't know how to respond to that, but I will let you know when this cover comes out. But that made me laugh so hard. I had to go and tell my mom and I worked together at our day job, and I had to go into her office and tell her about that because I was like, "This is the weirdest conversation I've ever had with a reader."
Can I have a different cover?
But, like, can I ask?
It's not where you thought it was going. It's just totally left field.
Yeah, I was like, maybe she just wanted a little cute, discreet cover. Not in. I was like, okay, first of all, if he's in prison, maybe he shouldn't be reading something so violent. Like maybe
Right?
ease into it. But I'm not here to judge you. But it's there now. So if she wants to send it to him now, she is more than happy to. But I hope she doesn't think that I'm making fun of her. I just thought that's a funny story. But
I love that.
No, it's great because it's not something that you would, as an author, maybe you don't think about like, oh, somebody in prison is going to want like, okay, so now oh, do I have to make a cover so it's prison safe? Like,
I almost was like, I don't have it yet, but I'll send you a proof maybe. But
right?
it was just hilarious to me.
Oh,
I thought that was so funny.
That is, I do love that. All right. If you could, where am I? I've lost my spot. Okay. Are you a cat or a dog person?
I am a cat person through and through. I love my kitties to death. We have a dog and I love him to death too, but my kitties are my babies. I have one, she's a senior kitty. Her name is Burnt Toast. Then I have another, she's, a kid. Well, she's not a kitten. She's grown now, but she's a teenager. Her name is Lemon Pepper, but we affectionately call her Stinky because she's a little hellion, a demon. She just lives to annoy us. So, but the senior one, she is a sweet baby that can do no wrong. But Stinky is Stinky.
Stinky would get along well with my kitten. And well, she's not a kitten. She's also a teenager, but her name is Shitty Kitty. She makes terrible life choices.
Terrible life choices. Yes. I've
Is she
heard
a
about
calico?
these terrible life choices.
Oh, she's a Duluth calico, but she likes to sneak out of the front door and take adventures in our neighborhood sometimes. And she wouldn't come to me. And my husband was like, I'm tired of calling for this cat. So he was like, Shittin' Kitten. And she came out. So that's her name.
I love how unhinged cat owners name their cats. Like they're never anything normal. It's like, ravioli or something crazy. And then dog owners, it's like Fred.
Yes. Frank.
Fred.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I always tell people, I'm like, well, you could just call her Kitty Kitty. Her name is unhinged.
We had a cat back when we lived in Germany. And actually, we just called him straight up Lucifer.
I know that feeling.
My husband, we would wake up hearing these weird sounds, and the cat was on the ceiling, like hissing. And he was like, oh my God. Like it freaked him out, and like he couldn't deal with it anymore. So Lucifer got a new home with my best friend at the time. Like she loves cats. She was able to, she didn't have a husband that was scared of them. So yes, needless to say, we aren't cat people. We are the doggy people.
You can give all the cats to me. I will take all of them forever.
Yes. I have pugs too, but they kind of are like the dog version of cats. So I think I'm pretty much a cat person.
You have favorite children, but my cats are my favorite children.
Yes. If you could live in a movie, what movie would you live in?
Oh, Crazy Rich Asians. Done.
Crazy Rich Asians. I like that answer.
Love that movie. Number one movie of all time.
Yes.
I still haven't seen it. I am going to need to see this.
You need to go watch it immediately after we
Immediately.
go
You
find it.
do.
I
And then
need to
report back.
find, where is it streaming?
Oh, you could probably rent it for $2 on Amazon.
I will buy
Uh,
it for you if you go watch it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I can help you facilitate this dream you are missing out.
Well, I am totally putting it on my list because now I do have the chance to actually watch movies that I want to watch.
Yes.
So I am putting it on my list and I will find it and watch it.
Yes. I love that movie so much. It was the wedding scene in that movie. The song that's playing in the background, that's the song I walked down the aisle to at my wedding. So it's like,
Aw.
came full circle. I love that movie so much, though.
I love that.
Aw.
It did come full circle. You did. So you kind of lived it a little bit.
A little bit, yeah.
All right. What is your go-to comfort food? I mean, we saw the Mountain Dew.
Yes, I'm a Mountain Dew girl, but honestly, anything like sour candy, chips, anything that's bad for me, really, I will eat it. I don't
Yeah.
like fruit, don't like vegetables, but like chips. Like I have a bag of Cool Ranch Doritos sitting next to me. As soon as we're off of this, I'm gonna start eating them, and some Sour Punch straws. It's probably what I'm gonna
Oh
do.
my gosh, I love it. I love the sour food. Like I'll do salt and vinegar chips. Oh, so good.
I'm not a fan of those. That's a little out there for me, but
That's a little too much. Oh God, I love those things. I'm addicted.
but lemon chips or lemon chips, since I got made fun of calling them lemon chips. Lemon chips.
Lemon chips.
Lemon chips. Do you like Takis?
Same, only different.
You like hot Cheetos though, with lemon sauce.
Yes. So good.
How do you choose to relax after a really stressful day?
It depends on like why the day was stressful, but I feel like in general, I usually do some retail therapy. I'm that kind of girl that just goes to the store, probably Target or Ulta, and just goes and spends money that I probably shouldn't be spending on things that I don't need. Either that or playing video games. I'm a video game girl. Really like, first person games where I don't have to answer to anybody. I just like go and do my own adventure. It's kind of like what reading is for a lot of people, where they like escape and feel like, a different person, especially like fantasy. That's kind of me with video games.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Video games, which ones do you play?
Oh, right now I'm on a big Baldur's Gate 3 kick. Skyrim, Elder Scrolls Online, very much like open world kind of games.
Those are so good. I was very big into like the Final Fantasy games, and then they made like the Disney one called Kingdom Hearts. Have you? So
I
much
never played
fun.
it, but I know about it.
Oh my gosh, so much fun. And then of course God of War. I'm obsessed with God of War.
Oh, my husband loves it.
Yeah, so good. So good.
Okay,
Kate, you got any video games?
I do not play video games. It's not my thing. I liked Donkey Kong on Nintendo 64.
Duck
Shows
Hunt?
my age.
You know what? That's a classic, though. So, you
Yeah.
get a pass.
Duck Hunt with that damn dog that
Yes.
laughs at you for missing.
Yes. And Mario.
love
I
it.
probably played the little Mario.
Mario is good. Mario's always good.
Yeah.
Mario 64, Mario Party. That was my jam.
Yeah.
I can't remember which number because there's like 13 of them, but one of those Mario parties, I was big on that one when I was younger.
Oh God, I love video games. Wish I had more time to do more video games, but
Wish that there was more
someday.
time so I could read and video games and write and do everything.
Yeah,
But,
there's like a
for
lot,
hours.
We just have to choose our happy for what we're feeling at the moment, I guess, Do I feel like a video game, or do I feel like reading, or do I feel like writing? Do I feel like bugging my friend Kate over here?
Or do I feel like
Yeah, I spend a lot of my time reading.
Yeah.
any particular genre?
Romance is kind of my jam lately, and audiobooks, and I work a lot, so when I'm not working, it's easy to have it going, and the ADHD. So I like to listen. She laughs at me all the time, but I really do listen to some of those books. Not all of them, but some of them I have to listen in 2.0.
I don't know how you do it. Okay. And if you're listening to Joe at 2.0,
He already talks fast, so sometimes
We all-
it's like 1.75.
1.75 one. That's usually where I stay. Sometimes it's a little too slow for me, but also
Right.
I like to like
dang, my
pause it
brain
and
does.
come back.
I think I there are certain narrators I can do 1.75 just because they naturally speak slower anyway. But most of I think I'm like a 1.2, 1.5 tops. Like that's top speed right there.
Yeah. It just depends. It depends on the book and the vibe of the book, and yeah. But I very, very, very rarely listen to a book in 1.0. Almost never.
It's way too slow for me. I can't do it.
Is it?
Yes, it's just, and it's like it detracts from the story, because then I'm focused on like, okay. So
Like
it's
get on
just better.
like
Yeah.
just finish the work.
You're like,
I
get
do
on
not
with it. I love it. Yeah, it's I find it's harder now to listen at 1.0, but 1.2 is not that big of a jump, but I can tell the difference.
I will say that some narrators you put it up to like 1.2 and it's like so I get it, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
It really depends.
on the narrator, but I did try Joe at 2.0 and I was like, I think somebody had way too many energy drinks. Like that's what
Well, and Joe at 2.0, you missed some of the inflection and the tone and the timing.
Yes.
It just depends, but yes.
Yeah. True. And I don't want to miss that.
it's a little fast.
Yeah.
Awesome. I think, was that it? Do we have one more? We do have one more question.
One more question.
All right. If you could go to any place without any concerns on time or money and spend 2 days there, where would it be and why?
Oh man. Okay. If it was just me and my husband wasn't with me, I would go to Italy. Because that's like I just want to go like backpacking across Europe so badly. That's like my dream, like in retirement one day, or like one day if I get really famous off my book or something. I'm gonna go backpacking across Europe. So that would be if it was just me. But if it was me and my husband going somewhere, we go to New Zealand because we're big Lord of the Rings fans and we really just kind of want to sightsee around New Zealand. So that's where we would go together. But if it was just me and I didn't have to bring him along, Italy would be mine.
I love it.
Both of those are so pretty. Yeah.
New Zealand is definitely on our bucket list for
On the
sure.
list.
Lord of the Rings and hello, Adelie.
Yes. Yes. Our
little
cutie, our fruitier.
Fruiterer. Yeah, no, New Zealand is definitely a big bucket list, and I hope you and your husband get to go, and I hope you get the chance to go do your backpacking trip through Europe as well. Maybe hubby can just stay. I don't know. He can go stay and post up in a castle somewhere in Europe and we'll let you go backpack.
I bet he'd like Scotland. I mean, that's not really a backpacking place, but I mean, he would probably like that. I love him to death. He's just a lot of energy sometimes, and I am like very much like, can we just take a deep breath, enjoy the silence for a moment? and he's like, bouncing off the walls. So, sometimes I'm like, just let's go, calm down, just one second,
Yeah.
take in the
Yeah.
sight. That's why New Zealand would be good, because there's a good mix of, you can go enjoy your stuff and I could go look at the mountains, kind of a thing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It balance, balance each other out.
You find that inner balance, and it'll be good, and all the energy just will mesh at the perfect level.
Yeah.
He is my better half, that's for sure.
Yes.
Oh.
I love that.
That's
Well,
so
thank you,
great.
Ariel, so much for spending some time with us tonight. I really appreciate it. Is there anywhere that we can catch you maybe in October?
Eh, maybe, possibly, we'll be attending, what's it called? My Soul to Take, is that what it's called?
That is what it's called. Yes.
Possibly, I don't know. I'm working on it. I've heard that there are some tickets reserved for me, but just kind of had to work out the logistics. But we'll see. I mean, I'll definitely let you guys know if I'll be there. But I'm gonna try my darndest to make it.
Well,
I can't
we
wait.
can't
I
wait to meet
cannot wait.
you.
Yeah.
We're going to
Oh
all
my
three, so that'll be very exciting.
I think New
Yeah.
York won the poll, so that's
Yes.
where I'm aiming toward.
I think on mine I was like all three.
Yes, I'll come to all three.
I did a lot of all threes, but maybe one of them.
Awesome.
Thank you again for your time.
Thank
Your
you.
work
This
is
was
phenomenal.
awesome.
I can't wait to see what else comes from you in the space, and I just really appreciate you.
Yeah, we appreciate you a lot. Thank you for creating this just gorgeous, heart-wrenching, like emotional story. I love it.
Well,
And
thank
we
you
love
for-
you.
I wouldn't be here without people like you.
Oh,
Oh,
thank you.
thank you so much.